are his voice. You are to obviously report back to the court what he's, he's telling you as if he was talking to the court. So not any kind of advocacy role, just let me know if he were asked something, what would he say? What would Preston say? And
to boil that down, I asked him point blank, who's Auntie Boo? Oh, that's Auntie Stacy. It was that quick.
And you were able to see his demeanor on the video.
Yes.
Was it nonchalant? He didn't fidget or show any kind of hyper-arousal responses?
No, he was his usual thought, which is, I'm going to pick up my phone. When he talks to me like this, he can see me and do it the big ends with the edges of the camera.
Okay.
And he's that sort of playful with me, or spinning around with the chair, I'm invisible, I'm invisible. That's what 7-year-olds do in offices. And it was, it seemed a no-filtered response, very casual. Oh, that's Auntie Boo. And then he kept on talking. Can I have lunch with her? Can I see her today? But all of this ran very much in a stream of consciousness. There didn't seem any premeditation or hesitancy in his words when he offered the information.
Bob, can I ask what date you met with him?
Just past 12.
The 4th. Okay, so I had already sent in my motions saying that there is no to go there, whatever you want to call it. That's well enough time for Alyssa to manipulate. I brainwashes him. Even his 14-year-old brother noticed changes within Preston. He's a completely different kid. He's repeating stuff that only adults would know. He doesn't know certain people's names within the family. This is what she does. She's coaching major assessment before. You also noted that he does not trust anybody. Are the counselors still on the call?
No, we had to drop off.
We had a clear call. I personally find it very unusual for a 17-year-old to be aware about trust and having trust issues. To me, that kind of speaks that somebody that breaks or whatnot. So,
those are not my words. The words that it happened in the letter of life.
Right, I'm not saying you said that. I'm saying my interpretation of a child having trust issues, that's what it speaks to. But you met with him just recently. I had already submitted my opposition, my pickup order, in which I had put that information in there. So that's well enough time for Alyssa to, have him repeat what she wants him to repeat. And this is, again, the whole basis of this custody issue is she was burning him and beating him because she was not about him. She was jealous of the attachment and the bond and the relationships that Preston has with myself, Marianne, and our side of the family. And I believe it initially started with she can't control her emotions and her, when she gets violent, is stated in the previous CPS history. And now, since we started making allegations, now she copied us and is turning it around on us and coming for us to prevent us from having visits with him.
It gives the question, I have to ask this, Stacy, the question's for you. You guys waited 6 months, we were on a hiatus. I reinstated your visits, and, we're in the middle of a trial, in the middle of court proceedings. It begs the question, you get your visits reinstated back. I mean, I'm a common sense person. Would say, well, let's just show as much fun as we can, have a lot of fun with Preston and show him, a lot of love and catching up with the family. You know what I'm saying? Well, it begs the question, and I get it. I get all the finger pointing and, like going back and forth, when you just got your visitation back, and pins and needles. Obviously, you just want to make everything fun for Preston, etc. And when how soon did you find out CPS was knocking on your door, calling you?
Exactly. We got our visits back. We were happy to see him. We had fun that day. Approaching my next visit, I believe, actually, I didn't find out CPS didn't call me until recently, but Linda Ray called me, I think, the Thursday before I was supposed to put Preston up. So that's almost 2 weeks after my initial visit, this allegation comes out. That's how it is.
Okay. Right. Yeah, begs the question. You just got your visitation back and an incident happens and then a lot more finger pointing is happening. That or Preston has a imagination, but it doesn't seem in line with when the therapists are saying he exhibited signs, but I didn't get to ask the question the severity of the hyperarousal traumatic responses. It appears that my finding today, there was one showing of that, and because I guess Mom and her attorney stopped the visits, obviously there was no more showing of the traumatic responses, and that's the problem when you have you have court and then you have the child's mental health. So you have to, I guess, do what you do, or the other side has to defend, and then they want their compensatory time. Based on what I'm hearing, Hannah Hartman, I guess, her last statement for purpose of today's hearing was to recommend supervised visits, but I'm getting a contradictory statement from Mr. Cercio saying, he said it was Auntie Stacy, but when can I see her again? So, no doubt, if you want to see your child for 6 months, you're going to plan a lot of fun activities for the child, a lot of bonding and catching up with the paternal side of the family, and so they're not just going to sit around the house, they're going to be planning lots of activities for him. And I need to ask also about his school. Mr. Cercio was of the impression that he's not attending his virtual school. And then I'll get to today's rulings and we'll wrap it up. Let's on the school question, Ms. Furtick. Is Mom on board with the virtual school?
Good afternoon, Madam. Right now, Alyssa is homeschooling with Preston, so they have a set schedule. It sounds time for learning, so it's not the traditional school county.
Time for learning is the program. Time for learning, and also the capital city, homeschool as well. Alright, did I get that right? Time for learning program? Yeah. Do you have to be certified by the Clark County School District? Oh, yeah, yes. Mine is applying for certification for homeschooling. And how long does that process take, Alyssa, to get the certification for homeschooling? I already have it this episode last week. Alright, correction. You said letters of intent, but do you have actual certificate? That's what it's called. That's what it's called. It's called a letter of intent to homeschool. And I have to keep it for records to prove that I permission to homeschool. And he has to take standardized tests at the end of the year or mid-year. It's going through the 24 so every week there's an activity report that comes out, and I have to keep all the papers that are home because it's happening online and not offline. So I do it this way because I have to work through, and I can't keep up with CCDC and do it at their time. I'm still wasting a lot of work. So this is the best way that I can do it to still put food on the table. Okay. And I will be happy to take him when we're going and when we're back since she's not able to help him with this going. I can
I'm talking in the school.
I understand. I don't think the school issue could impact the court's decision. Trial is set for one again. Did we get you guys your trial date? It should be. You don't have it assigned yet?
Well, not yet.
There is a court date. I think we're holding that today already. The status check on visitation reports of the GAL and therapist, September 17th at 9 a.m. Jeffrey and McClure, we're going to vacate 9/17, and we need to assign a trial date. We are in the middle of the trial, and so we are still, I believe, in Mom's case in chief. How much more left do you have in Mom's case in chief before Stacy and the grandma, I guess? Well, Stacy, her case. Did I get that case? I'm chief of case, have you caught up? Oh, I'm sorry. When Miss Barnes started the trial, Carol Barnes started the trial for you guys, right? Correct. So you're still on, how much more witnesses, how much more questioning? Just a rough estimate so I can assign trial days immediately to get this thing back in the trial. So neither of the paternal family has taken this stand. None of us have taken this stand, so we still have to go through that. Unless if there's help witnesses, I know she had people from her church she wanted to call as witnesses. They have to have already been disclosed. Were they disclosed in the list of witnesses that Ms. Barnes had filed before trial started, Stacy? Yes, they did file them. Are you still calling as witnesses, Linda?
Your Honor, I think with this matter, I think we're on day 5 trial, and we kind of move things around with the therapist and with the detective. I never finished my case in chief with Crystal Whipple. I think we allowed.
Yeah, we left off there. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I think Ms. Barnes was going to question it. I think we were trying to question all at once. That was the release of the witness.
So, yeah, we took her out of turn, basically. She was your witness. Christopher Whipple was your witness.
Yeah. Right, and now that we have Ms. Hartman and Hartman, I think I really spend time and then, so really, 2 hours. It's already out of stand. It's already out of communication. Yes, you are. I have fun with it. I think because of the time we took her out. We took Elizabeth from the off stand and put Crystal Whipple on the stand. And then this all happened in February, where it was continued. So I don't think so. Maybe a full day. But we still have this.
Oh, it's more than, I think paternal grandmother and paternal aunt are going to take a full day. Mom's going to take another half a day. And then we're looking at Miss Whipple, now Miss Hartman, and I don't know, CPS workers are going to be, and then the church witnesses. I'd say 3 full days. 3 full days. And that doesn't include closing arguments, which should be, depends on what the new judge will schedule. For me, closing arguments are about a total for both sides about 90 minutes, 45 minutes each side, which includes rebuttal time. And of course, you have Mr. Cercio, who is going to testify as the child's voice. So let's assign those trial dates. And then I'll get to the order. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Cercio, since you just sort of popped up on the video here and came up on my screen, and while I'm looking for trial dates for them?
No, just set them and I'll be ready for you.
Well, we're not as bad as some other judges who are setting out a year out now, because COVID has backed us out 6 months. We're doing pretty well. We're settling, I think, April. Unless I have one, I can look in March and see if I have anything 3-4 days. I don't know if it'll be 3 days.
May I suggest keeping it in April because I'm not certain whether or not the family law section will have a bishop conference this year. and I'm sorry, 2021, and that's beneficial for all family judges and practitioners. So I'm not sure what speaking engagements I may have to do.
Maybe both sides as well. We're going to have a total rearranging of cases in family court. It's going to impact all of the cases. First of all, we're getting 6 brand new judges, and 4 of them are going to be doing domestic cases like myself. And we have to create a caseload, a calendar for them. So there is a more than higher chance you might not stay Department I, or whether, that's 2 females running in this department. Or you could be into one of the new departments, either UBWXYZ, and one of those 4, well, there's 6, but 2 are going into abuse and neglect, last I heard. So if I set you in April, then a new judge, wherever we would be assigned to, if you change out judges, it's going to rearrange their entire calendars. But, what you want to call, I suggest you call that new judge's secretary and say, hey, don't kick us out of April. We've been set in April. If you want to rearrange it to somewhere different days, but, this trial is one of those unfinished trials, and it has to be, and hopefully by April, we're going to be beyond that, where we're back in the courtroom doing the trials. I won't be up because I'll be off the bench by then. I'll be retired. So, what do I have in April? So what I do is I'm just going to go ahead and set you guys for the 3 days. And January will be an amendable sitting trial. And it looks like, might as well, let me see. Yeah, we would have to lose some days. 3 days is tough. I could probably get you the 2 full days. Anything you don't finish up, the judge would have to set it for that final day. And so you could just let the new judge know we're probably going to get it done in 2 full days. But I can't, I would give you 2 days, which would be, it looks like April 21 and 22. And you maybe
we're going to check. We think we have another trial on those 2 days. We're just double checking.
Okay. So then that would put us out into May. And like I said again, the judge may rearrange their whole calendar. If you agree to May,
well, the little case is, I will take update. The other trial is April 8th.
So 21 and 22 I can give you. Alright, I'll put that in the chat box. Let me write that in the chat box. And they both will start at 9 a.m. I don't know what the new judge will do, but it's 2 full days, and we'll continue on. And it has to be done in person, be able to confront all the witnesses. Okay, so the court made inquiry with the schooling, there's no impact with that. So here's the thing. There's a lot of there's not a lot of trust going on between both sides. It's understandable. The level of conflict is very, very high. It's one of the factors that we look at in best interest of the child, given that the child is still going through counseling and therapy. I don't think he has the maturity to, and I'm making these as findings. Child is, let me write that down. Child is not of sufficient age or maturity to state preferences. That's why I assigned him a GAL at age 7 in terms of his timeshare. So that's one of the things I take consideration on. There's been new allegations of what do you call it, a child describing not wanting to self-harm himself. Okay, CPS has ongoing investigation. GAL gave a, you have a written report, it's a verbal report from 9/4 interview.
From the GAL?
Yes, yeah, we got a report today, right?
Yes, if you desire, I can put that into a letter format.
CPS wasn't able to identify alleged perpetrator, as it speaks to basically Aunt Stacy. They said Aunt Stacy was Aunt Stacy, which is opposite. Is that the word? Not opposite. Opposite. To GAL's report, and I'm trying to recall if Miss Hartman stated that the child disclosed to her that Aunt Stacy said that, or she couldn't identify who, or the child said it was Aunt Drew. Let me go back in my notes. I don't think Miss Hartman, did she say anything about any disclosures to her? Well, no, I think she, yeah, child told her about Auntie Rubu, but it was a paternal great aunt, his aunt's aunt. So I've got GAL saying it was a disclosure of Aunt Stacy, and I've got CPS and Miss Hartman saying the child didn't disclose it as Aunt Stacy. So it's kind of 2 out of the 3. They're kind of conflicts with the GAL's report. And so CPS wasn't able to identify alleged perpetrator, which is opposite to GAL's report. And Miss Hartman Miss Hartman did not state child disclosed. It was Aunt Stacy. It was a paternal great aunt. So I got 2 saying no, we couldn't verify it was Aunt Stacy, and I've got 1 saying it wasn't Aunt Stacy. Now, I have to give some weight to this. Miss Hartman, I reminded her I'm not delegating my judicial authority, but she stated I would recommend from a therapist standpoint that there would be supervised visitation, not complete lack of contact, but she recommended supervised visitation between Preston and his paternal family out of concern that hyperarousal and traumatic responses may resurface again. Well, here's the thing. The mother and her attorneys filed the motion, so we weren't able to see if, and they did what they had to do. I understand that, and might have been with talking with the therapist as well, that the child had traumatic responses, but it appeared to me that traumatic response was on August 21. I assume that no visits took place between the paternal family. After August 21, there was only the 1 visit on August 7th. Stacy and you had to visit August 7th?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So you anticipated to get a visit on August 21 every other weekend, and instead Preston was seeing his therapist on August 21. And they had suspended your visitation. So we had 1 visit. We didn't. I don't have facts about what happened with the 2nd visit, what happened with the 3rd visit, with a new allegation. We'll never know because Mom filed a motion, and I'm not faulting her for that. And the therapist, I just don't know if I'm persuaded enough to say, because I didn't ask the therapist the severity of the hyperarousal, but I'm assuming any type of clear symptom of hyperarousal traumatic response, difficulty calming oneself, has brought back feelings of or memories of trauma. And no matter the spectrum of severity, trauma is purely, that's what it is. Trauma is trauma, and trauma is not in the best interest of the child. So, as far as the visitation goes, I could defer to the therapist's recommendation, not complete lack of contact, but some type of, well, it's my discretion. Should it be supervised or should be something lesser than an overnight on the weekends in terms of that. Now, competing with that, the geriatric report, child is not scared of Aunt Stacy. Child wants to have more time with Aunt Stacy. When are we going to lunch? And, what are we going to do next? So, I think I have to give that some weight as well. So balancing these views, okay, let me add some to this. GL, however, reported child is not fearful of Aunt Stacy and wants more visits. Miss Hartman recommended supervised visits. Okay. For times there was some type of traumatic response from Preston. The severity is not as important as the fact that trauma is trauma. Okay, so here's the court's decision. Court hereby orders on a temporary basis. We will go with, let me see, orders on a temporary basis.
Let's say what happened.
Based on, yeah, go ahead.
So, I'm looking at my table of contents for the CPS book, and on January 31st, we have on date stamp number 484 through 984 through 986, also on 825. CPS says illicit allegations are untrue, people don't exist, and she is coaching precedents. This sounds like the exact same thing. And throughout this,
What are you reading that from, Bruce?
This is one of the CPS reports from January 31st, 2017. I took the liberty to go through all of the CPS book and put together a table of contents. I can send this in to you if you'd like to review it. I would
From the trial exhibits, you may actually have some of those CPS records. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
All of these, it's a cycle, it's a pattern. It's the same exact thing, different accusations against different people. The accusations go against whoever's trying to get custody of her. Again, as I mentioned, it started with Sean. All of these different allegations on Sean. CPS has mentioned a few times that it's custody motivated. I think when I met with Yvette, she had the same idea, because I also did ask her if she can make a recommendation to cease my visits. I will send this in to you so you can review it. It's a pattern. It's a pattern. All the way back from 2013, 2016, 2017, and then from Sean it moved to my mom, and now it's on me because I'm the sole person going for custody against her. Now, in regards to what Preston is telling his counselors, I have nothing to do with that. I had 1 weekend with him. We went to the lake. We had fun. The family was around. We had a lot of family time. None of us are here to tell a child to hurt himself, especially with the reference of a hearing her now. To me, that kind of reminds me of like the Jesus on the cross, who Alyssa is very religious now. In fact, I think her license plate says Jesus. So again, this will come to her. This is not something that a 7-year-old would make up on his own. She's using this because, the counselors have met with Preston via Zoom. Nobody's checking his back. Nobody knows. Preston has told CPS, police, me, numerous people that his mom has hurt him, and since nothing's being done, he's not going to continue to go against her. What choice does he have? He's a child. If he doesn't, then the abuse gets worse. Your Honor, may I say something? Ms. Turdick.
Yes, you get the last word. It's your motion, your final rebuttal. Well, I think I have a question I had for Stacy, but I couldn't remember it just right off the bat. So go ahead.
So for 6 months, this child had no visitation with paternal side. He went from a trauma therapist to role-playing therapist. They moved him down in therapy. When we all know that we had to stop the trial because there was evidence that we could not disclose to them, and the court was not to disclose. We were told not to disclose, and I don't want to go past that as to what was happening to the child at that point. And that is why there was such a drastic stop of everything, and the contact was cut from the paternal side. At that time, there was nothing that had happened to this child for 6 months, except that he's improving. All of a sudden, they start visitation again, and only then say, Mom, craving it again? I'm sorry. That doesn't even sound right. 6 months, he's been improving. Gradually, he's been improving. He went from a trauma therapist to a normal, role-playing therapist. Your Honor, if you still not stop, it's your time to get to talk.
Excuse me.
Your Honor, can you move it?
Stacy, I will ask you to wait. I know you want to say something in response, and once she's done, you can ask me if you're allowed to respond further. Okay. So I heard that, yes, he got better after it stopped, and when it resumed, it got worse. I think that's basically Mom's argument. That's clear in her paperwork, so I really, I thought I might be wanting to say something else to you that I might not be aware of. But yeah, I read that in the paperwork. And,
but I'm not just saying that. That's the therapist that did that. And you know, I don't think that the court should allow anything that is not supervised. I do not believe that is in a child's best interest. You need to look at that. This is very contentious for outsiders, but I'm sorry, it is not in the best interest of this child to have unsupervised visits with them.
I actually thought you were going to respond to the nail and hammer referral that Mom is religious and talks about the crucifixion of Jesus or something with Preston and referencing a nail and a hammer. That doesn't come from Stacy's household. Maybe
I don't think there's a, I think, I'm sorry,
yeah, that's what Stacy.
They say what's convenient to them. And I don't believe that that's a reference to Jesus nailing himself to the cross. He can say whatever she wants, but that is not a reference. He never said anything about God. He never said about anything that would have referenced that. So, I'm sorry, that's a red herring she's throwing out there because she knows Mom is religious and Mom does have beliefs. And the child goes to church. But I'm sorry, I believe the child comes up with this. I totally disagree and do not think it is in the best interest of the child that he should be non-supervised visitation with them.
Okay. Stacy, I guess this is the part where you asked me, can I add one more thing? Which, go ahead, you can.
Yes, I would like to say, again, Preston has been seeing counselors via Zoom. If he was to show traumatic experience with us being out of the equation, then obviously that would fall on Alyssa. So the abuse, and the reason why she was, as Crystal told me, mentally unstable is because she thought that she was going to lose Preston. So all of the emotions, all of that stems from Alyssa. Again, even when I did her visit, it was only every other weekend. That's 2 days. She has him 24/7, and now he's not even going to school. He's not seeing anybody in person. Nobody can speak to whether if he has burn marks on his back or not. And that's I remember I was going to ask you. You have this counter motion to have Preston be seen by a different independent type counselor. I'm not, and that's your concerns of bias. I don't find any bias in terms of Whipple and Hartman. I think they took an oath. They have a license to do no harm and to do what's best for the child. And they came from a CPS
referral. So it's not like mom knew them beforehand. She sought them out at the CPS suggestion. They work with a lot of abused, neglected kids. They work a lot with CPS cases, and they take a lot of CPS referrals. So we have to trust them in terms of their licensure to act ethically and advocate for the child and do no harm to the child. So the motion for a different therapist is denied. However, since there was a change of therapist, well, not a change, we call it a transition from trauma to therapy for the attack. Mom also, it's the writings on the wall there. Mom also has attachment therapy she has to go through with Preston because, given Preston's, behavior and conduct sometimes, it's needed. Obviously, it's not that they have, it's hard to describe it, but basically, Mom and Preston are needing therapy for attachment therapy. There are some possible bonding concerns as well. It's probably based on the history of being previously under Sean's primary care and now in Mom's primary care, and so they felt that was the need to do the attachment therapy there. But the question again is, okay, if the paternal family has a prior history with this child, have they ever rejected you, Stacy, in terms of attachment therapy for you and Preston, or they never explored that? And if they work for Alyssa, if they work for Preston and helping Preston get a better relationship with his mom, more bonding, more attachment, where does paternal side of the family, fit in? Well, that's the whole issue of the trial itself, the visitation rights, and the statute works kind of backwards. A parent has a constitutional right to withhold contact, and that withholding of the contact is presumed to be in the best interest of the child, unless the parent is unreasonably denying the contact. And that is a definition that the court has to work with, and that requires a child finding credibility and witnesses whether or not this type of withholding is in fact the best interest or unreasonable denial. And so that's what this trial is going for, but it's also because of the loss of the fingerprint, the credibility issue, it causes stress for everyone in terms of not just visitation. If the court does not find one credible, it's possible custody might not be in Preston's best interest with her. So would it go to, Aunt Stacy? And what are the rules in terms of, a hierarchy, biological natural parent over a next of kin related within the second degree of consanguinity. There's just a lot of issues going for, and there's two things going on right now with this trial, and so very difficult issue. All right, Stacey, you have a question? Yes, I did. I want to say there is no issues with bonding between Preston and anybody on the paternal side. That's where the issue stems from. Alyssa is jealous of the relationships that we have. Also, you said an unreasonable reason why she doesn't want us to have visits. I think she made that very clear, and I want to say the February hearing when she said that her issues predate with Marianne back in 2013, something that has nothing to do with this case. So that's where the whole basis comes from. Again, Preston and everybody in my family, we have a very strong bond with him, and there should be no reason that visitation is stopped. No attachment, no bonding issues. Yeah. With the
when he spoke with Bob, he's always asked for me and asked for, he wants to come see me all the time. There's no issues with that. Thing I thought of is, I know you requested a change of therapist. I don't find that they're biased or they're acting unethical in any way in terms of doing their job, and that is to help Preston along. However, so your motion for, and I wrote it in there, for different therapists is denied, but you say there are no attachment, no bonding issues. If you feel that there are no attachment, no bonding issues, then I won't need to order then that if you wanted to have your own attachment therapy type therapist, then you can certainly raise the question with the court. But if the question is not before me, then today you're saying there's no attachment, no bonding issues. So if you wanted some therapy sessions for you and Preston and anybody on the paternal side of the family, that's not for me to decide that today. So I wanted to make sure that's not an issue with you. Correct. Now, unless you had a question with that, Stacey, so if you were going to request, well, can we have Preston meet with us to have our own, telehealth therapy visits, or at least have him checked out if you need, therapy, but you're putting therapy on top of therapy, so you're not on the kid's plate, obviously, and when he's there with you on the weekend visitation, you're there to plan fun activities and, lots of family activities with him. And it's going on there from both sides. Again, beg the question. If you just got your visitation back, why have someone do something and get the, have the finger pointed at them and say, you're accusing me now, and I just got my visitation back. I mean, I probably do everything in my power not to try and get the accused. And then the suspicion level goes up at the expense of your having visitation and contact. And then I wouldn't say lack of trust and mistrust, but your perception of mom having direct access and Preston having direct access with co-counseling, and that co-counseling is only providing the therapy on the mother's side of the family, and, we're off to the side there. That's the perception, okay? And how much therapy can this child have? Preston's getting his individual therapy. He completed the trauma therapy. He had a little, a traumatic response. I cannot verify the severity, and that might be something I could have maybe explored more. But to me, it might have made a difference, the severity of was it a little traumatic response or a hiccup? Or was it like, oh my gosh, he was just absolutely not himself. Either way, trauma is trauma, and trauma can exert itself and either manifest itself in physical symptoms or conditions, and it may have short-term and it may have potential long-term effects, permanent effects. Considering what Preston has gone through, it could lead to, into his adulthood. But let's just say, so severity of the traumatic response is not relevant to the court other than trauma is trauma. That's what it is. If we had a trauma, then trauma is considered turning harm to the child. And you saw me talking to Ms. Hartman and saying, look, I'm not putting you in any position to point fingers. We're just saying, did Preston have a traumatic event during the telehealth visit? And she, display a traumatic response, and she answered in the affirmative. That visit was August 21. And you had a question where August, you had to visit August 7th, why would it show up either a week or 2 weeks later? And her response was, in her training, trauma can show up a week or two later. And, I have to kind of give that some type of consideration. I think that's not a incredible type of response based on her therapeutic training, but
It's not about the finger pointing, it's why we exhibit the traumatic response. Let me tell you, I'm not censuring Mom or anything and her attorneys for filing that motion, but they took action for whatever reason, and they said they took it for Preston's safety. Now the other side is going to come back and say, well, since you suspended our visits, you have more time to work on Preston and work on time to build the case. And I get that as well. I get that, and 20 years on the bench, I see things more in terms of how each of you are proceeding the case, and it's tough. Like I said, Mr. Cercio with the mail, no comment later. But he's actually, I'm so sorry. These are very, accurately portrayed. It is going down to a credibility issue. And really, what's going on? Why are people acting this way? Why is Mom acting? Why is Aunt Stacy? And why are they saying and pointing fingers at each other? And ultimately, Preston is the person caught in the middle. The person's caught in the middle. And the court's goal, obviously, is to ideally see peace. Peace for this child. No more family feud. Allowing him to have a relationship with both sides of the family. But how he reacts with this trauma or resurfacing of trauma, will a court, the final judge's decision, solve the family problems? May or may not, but I don't think, I don't think we can ever predict with a crystal ball what Preston's, childhood is going to be going forward in the future because of the trauma of the loss of his father, not in fault, not any of Preston's fault, obviously, and the new, primary custodial situation he has with the mom and their attachment therapy, sessions going forward. So it's pulling on both sides. And do I just hang my hat on Cercio? Do I hang my hat on Hannah Hartman? Do I hang my hat on Yvette Howard? Okay, you can't. I think we have to take the totality of the circumstances in there. And so, what I think the court has to do is some type of balancing. Just like, we don't have a model of June 1, but I think it's a great model that if we already have a therapeutic court, but we never obviously want to create any more harm for a child. We want to make it a safe environment, but also dealing with a lot of the he said, she said. That's the tough part of doing this job, dealing a lot of the he said, she said, and she said, he said, and that's where our role comes into play. And what we do is we closely monitor that. And so, now, before I forget, Aunt Stacy, if you want your own expert, rebuttal expert, to absolutely review from start to finish the child's medical records, the course and progress of the therapy, and basically either somebody with a PhD level, some type of evaluator.
Yeah, Dr. Holland has been retained.
By whom?
By Liz Cantor.
Right. That's what I thought. She was always working, that Lee was working in the background, but is she still officially retained? Stacey? Because she would be the person to, I guess, comment on, based on her expertise and as an expert witness, to comment on the course of the therapy. The course of the therapy.
So she's asking for another $5,000 retainer. So that's kind of where we stand at this point. I've already put in thousands of thousands down. But I know the funds are going to be, I don't know. I had asked for Alyssa to contribute, because she is telling more lies and sending them on the abuse chases. So I know it was, what was it called? Non-biased or something like that? But then she was trying to neutral evaluator.
I can't recall when Miss Barnes was on the case if she was appointed as a court-appointed neutral or she was going to be basically hired by Miss Barnes' side. They wanted her to review all the records.
The court appointed. She was not court appointed. What had happened, I think, in the prior hearing, was that they did not disclose any experts. So when we were on this trial, it's not fair that we have to put the look at a detective. And so we stipulated, we didn't have to, but we did, and so Dr. Holland and we were experts witness, and they would pay out of cost because Alyssa agreed to, and she did not have the money to pay.
I think that's accurate. So you stipulated with Carol Barnes that she could testify as an expert.
Right.
Dr. Holland can testify. There will be an expert for Aunt Stacy on this case.
And you know, this is Carrie, but it's important to know that, you know, we didn't have to do that. We didn't pass their time. We were in trial. But we did that because we want, like, for the best interest of the child. Mother agreed to that.
Absolutely. Right, you'll notice that it's done. We did that at a prior hearing. Okay. So that was one of the things I wanted to address with the change of therapists or concerns about the whole counseling people. I'm going to deny that, and Stacy said, well, we don't need therapy as far as bonding. We're bonded with Preston, and so he will continue with Miss Hartman. River is, it appears, out by now, unless trauma resurfaces. And in terms of the visitation, let me write this down. I will order some type of kind of a hybrid order. I won't do full weekends, but I will monitor closely, you know, how their visitations are going. We are going to stay with every other weekend, but we will reduce it to, I can give you a clock on Saturday or Sunday with no overnights, and I'm not going to supervise it based on competing things I've heard from the GAL and from Ms. Hartman and from CPS.
I may not have a visit the first Saturday, not Sunday, because Preston goes to church with Mom. On Sunday, he goes to Sunday school.
Stacey, are you available every other Saturday? I presume you are, because you're going to be available. You will presumably available for us every other weekend. We're just going to go to day visits. I'm not going to supervise it. If I shorten the time, I think that would be kind of right now addressing any concerns that Ms. Hartman bring up, but I'm not going to. I'm overriding her concern for doing her request for supervised visitation, but I think 8 hours, 10 hours, or a day visit only, no overnights, and to continue to closely monitor the situation on that. And I think I can tell both sides of the family here is be mindful of what you say to the child, obviously. So, out of fear of getting accused, their fingers pointed at each other. So, this is, it's kind of happening again, but I would thought that with the resumption of the visits, like I said, it begs the question. Why would Stacy want to do that, or why would Mom, why would Mom want to suspend the visits and do that, because then it created more suspicion for Stacy. Okay, now you suspended my visits. You know, are you working on Preston now? And that didn't give me any opportunity to have 1 or 2 or 3 visits and see how the visits were going to be going. After one visit, it just stopped again. So I'm going to resume for that this Saturday, and it's going to be every other. We're going to go here with every other weekend, but really just Saturday visits only. We could start it this Saturday. And what would date would that be? That's September 12th? Okay, did you, and I don't understand about exchanging with Dr. Deepa. Is that something you guys agreed to rather than coming to the family court?
They have an APO, like you said with us. Like you said, she should be able to get a job off. We have not to Whole counseling has reserved an APO, like Sarah and Katie. If she can do to pick up some of the job off. That way, if anything is said between the parties at the
I'm looking at Diana again. She has him, 24/7, all hours a day, and the reason, and we did agree to drop off a day. However, she interfered with the direct. He was supposed to go directly to Dr. Deca. She came, gave him a hug, whispered in his ear, "Don't forget what I told you." So even though I'm going to have him for that full day, the brainwashing has already been going on for the entire week. I'm only seeing him. So I mean, I'm at a huge disadvantage because I was yeah.
I'm sorry, she's just saying that we don't know. That's just she's just been saying that her side.
Everyone's objecting to that. And we can keep it that way if it's convenient for both sides of the family. If not, I put my foot down and say we go do Donna's house. We'd have to do Donna's house supervised exchanges where we never see each other. What we do is we drop Preston off 15 minutes earlier on the scheduled time. You have to be there punctual and pick up, like if it's a 6 p.m. or 9 a.m. pickup, you drop off 8:45 and then you leave. And then 9 a.m. they come pick up. And when it's return time at 6 p.m., the returning tardiness is returned by 5:45, and then the other party arrives at 6 while the other party has already taken off from the parking lot. So that's how
I was saying I'm okay with the in-home or the in-state counselor doing exchanges, but I'm saying she's making for the reason that it was nothing to come from her. I was just saying it's only going to be 8 or 9 hours, so
maybe it'll come out at trial. I don't know, but people should be people should be acting appropriately on both sides of the family with the child. So home counseling will be used to facilitate child exchanges. So every other Saturday.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. We don't know how counseling can do it. Can we do Donna's house?
So this is Dr. Socia speaking. May I interject? May I suggest a neutral McDonald's letter with a playland attached to it with a 20-minute window, and as parties show up, they can buy a coffee or a soda that'll show the timestamp. If there's any incidences, a security tape can be obtained from McDonald's, and that's the least expensive way because neither side's made out of money.
I can waive mom's fees at Donna's house, and actually I can waive Aunt Stacy's fees for paying for Dr. Holly if they want to continue.
I don't want to do visits at Donna's house, and Alyssa just offered the
exchanges. You're just picking up and dropping off. They charge $5 a pop for that. So if you're dropping off, it costs you $5 to pick up and $5 to drop off, and it'll cost Alyssa with $10 the same way. But I can waive those fees since everybody's not have a lot of money left over, but I can waive the $10 fees for each of you, so it's technically $10 to drop off and pick up. But I can waive it. It won't cost either one of you. So if Hope is not, I'm writing this, if Hope is not available, Donna's house supervised exchanges, not visitation, exchanges. Basically, you will pick up the child at the family mediation center. And all fees waived for both sides. Okay? So JA shall submit the Donna's house referral order. And like I said, work it out with Hope. If Hope doesn't work with Yesenia or Katie, then you go through Donna's house. But we cannot hold anything up in terms of the Saturday visits. So she'll submit it via email. All right. Now, Preston to continue with therapy with Hannah Hartman / Hope Counseling, because I don't know if there's trauma involving. I don't know if they're bringing Crystal back, but hopefully you won't have to. And we'll monitor the situation. Okay, I had written up there also, I did updated CPS records, so if you wanted to compare notes, or you haven't gotten additional CPS records, you can come review them. Now, one thing I can do to make it easy is if you're going to use those exhibits as a sealed exhibit, Ms. Lair and Ms. Hardick, or the court can also do it as their own exhibit. Updated CPS records, they're eventually becoming a trial exhibit, so really doesn't, if Stacy were to get a copy email via PDF, she's going to end up getting it in a trial exhibit notebook anyway. So do you object to having Stacy sign a confidentiality order and that we would, I don't know, submit it as a potential exhibit? These new updated CPS records. Apparently she's got the old CPS records in her possession. Mother's Counsel?
We don't have a problem with that, Your Honor. She's got the confidentiality.
Alright, so, and Stacy to sign court's confidentiality agreement order, and then she will receive the CPS records via PDF. So will be sent to. Did you get it, Mr. Socio?
I'm sorry, say that again, Your Honor.
We'll give you the updated CPS records, whatever we have to date.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So everybody will get it 3 days. And we're probably going to track it in again 2, 3, 4 weeks and see if there's any updated records, etc. Now, this is supposed to hold you over until trial. And all holidays, we discussed this before, I think all holidays, I'm looking at my calendar, all holidays belong to Mom, so I do think Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday, so it's not impact under Saturdays, but the December 25th is a Friday, so that's not going to impact Christmas, Mom's Christmas or Thanksgiving. And no other major holidays in between, or a child's birthday, is that correct? These every other Saturdays, 2 Saturdays a month. I would say 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., either at Donna's house or through Hope Counseling. I don't know how fast you can get a answer from Hope Counseling, but I'll have Mom's attorneys coordinate with Aunt Stacy if that's feasible. If not, we've got to start it already for this Saturday. Now, it may take a while to sign up orientation with Donna's house, but I'm not going to have it hold up this Saturday's visit, So exchange at their family court security gate, like we did last time, with authorization to record in your pocket, your dash cam from your car, audio or video record. Okay? Apparently you guys did that before, and I didn't hear anything about that. There was no issue, so it's a safe place to do that. I like Mr. Cercio's recommendation about McDonald's, but this is the type of situation where they do not absolutely trust each other, and we want to make it kind of airtight on that. So we do the McDonald's thing because kids like that, but there's not a lot of trust on both sides. So maybe at one point later in the future we might get there, Mr. Cercio, but I thank you for that suggestion. But family court, we've got security everywhere, minute security personnel, 24/7. So it is a 9 hour visit. Did I write that there? 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Can I ask for 7 tonight at night? I mean, if I return home at 6 p.m., that doesn't mean there was a chance to have dinner together. The sun goes down at 6:57 now, but it's going to get darker as we get into winter. It's going to be 5 p.m. And but either way, it gets dark at around 5 o'clock in the dead of winter, and you guys won't be in until April, and these days are going to get shorter and shorter. And Saturday is not a spring night, so it's plausible. Does Mom have any objection? 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's they're being reduced as it is. Is the extra hour going to be
I wanted 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Your Honor, 7 a.m. she can't do. 9 she can do. 9 to 7 I'm gonna.
okay?
And it's been a whole day, insanity, overtime,
well, I know, and Stacey, you're an early bird, but a typical drop-off for a child is 9 a.m. And Mom has to get them up, get them dressed, give them breakfast, and then they have to get that extra half hour to come into the courthouse and get there, and then drop off. But it'll be prompt. It'll be punctual. 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Approved. We'll give you that extra hour. You'll be stuck there winter. Gets dark at 5, so I ask everybody to drive safely in the east. Okay? Alright, 9 to 7 approved, and it is every other Saturday. Okay. That's all the orders from today. Now, there are attorney's fees, obviously still on the table. I'm still going to defer that to, or defer to the trial. So, what is the outcome? It's a technical request when they file an motion. Unless, did you plead it? Ms. Hurdick, Ms. Lay? If not, then I'll take it off the table. Did you actually plead it? You didn't plead it? No, oh, I see. Okay. Correction. No fees were asked in the emergency motion. All right. Attorney at Mont's counsel shall prepare the order. You need to sign off, Mr. Cercio.
No, I do not.
Okay, but serve the GAF.
As long as I served the therapist, I'm fine.
I'll prepare today's order. Alright, we have the court minutes done. Thank you, everyone. Another long hearing, but thank you for hanging in there. We don't have another return date. We've got you set already for April. Everybody should just try to plug along. It's the best we can do. Be appropriate with the child. Be mindful, and try to give the child the best experience as possible. Not cause anything traumatic. Everybody's in hypervigilance, and if the child senses that lack of distrust between the two sides of the family, it could rub off on him. So I think if we have to, for the sake of having to keep it calm and just do the exchanges, do a little bit of encouragement, and just continue on. There at some point, obviously, if there are any issues, give it I'd say no earlier than 2 months of, that would be about 4 Saturday visits before anybody should file an motion to either increase visits or decrease visits. It's probably coming, but you got me until, I would say before the end of December, but probably before Christmas time, because then the new judge will be in and we're packing up. So we're going to be closing shop on my end, and then new judge and their staff will already be in my chambers by then. So we have September, and we have October. Last you can get in is probably filing a motion by mid-November to early December to be heard if there's any changes in the visits. Not encouraging anything, I think they should just try and continue with that. If they can manage with that until trial, then obviously. But when you file a motion into the new year, you're going to be heard by whichever judge is. By late December, maybe you guys will know who your actual judges. But then, the concept of peremptory challenges and new judges, that could do a little bit of a shift. But if you want to pay $450 to peremptory a judge, that's also going to come into play. You settle in, then you find out who your new judge will be. And that's why the trial is going to be finished in the early part of next year. There won't be enough room for trial to finish it here. And to hold an in-person trial in the courtroom. That is why it's going to take next year. And plus, it's going to require additional days, and we just don't have those days left with me having 3.5 months left on the bench. Okay? Thank you, everyone. I hope I don't have any other questions, concerns. The future court date will be the trial date. J.E.A. to file amended order setting trial. And I'm going to tell her, exclude any discovery or PTM deadlines. Those were already passed. So we're just giving you the trial dates. Trust me, I've had attorneys, we made it standard, and I've had attorneys saying, well, we did extended discovery, and we get into those issues, but it's now there in the court minutes. It's going to go in there, exclude discovery or PTM deadlines. Okay. So, I have a couple questions. You said I can subpoena you. I just want to make sure that's still standing. I can't tell you how to do your case. Consult with an attorney. Anybody who discloses a witness through Carol Barnes, that's fair game. If there are any new witnesses because of new information, like we didn't know that Howard is working on this case from CPS, so I would tend to approve Yvette Howard if she is subpoenaed, whichever side wants to subpoena her. Bob Sergio got on in the middle of this case, in the middle of trial, and he's been very good, volunteering as a GAL, and so he will get notice, and he's expected, obviously, to testify and give an objective report back. So his name's on the table for sure. Final thing I'd say, do not let any Dallas House order hang you up this Saturday. The other DFAT orders, you will show up and do it at the family court gate because you're not going to be able to get into Dallas House orientation that fast. So you have to press on with that until you can formally get into that Dallas House program. So everybody understand, show up at the family court gate until Dallas House has approved both of you. They got to go over their orientation, and it's going to be a lot nicer because you never have to see each other. And not have any confrontations, and not be able to observe anything the other side's doing, because they're going to be dropped off 15 minutes early before pickup. Okay? So we will do those exchanges, and no excuses. Okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. And thank you, Mr. Cercio. And it looks like the others have dropped off. Bye-bye. Thank you.